Hello guys, welcome back to Tactical Draft World, and today's episode we want to talk about Angelo Stiller. In the last 24 hours, Manchester United has been linked with Angelo Stiller from Stuttgart as reported by Ben Jacobs. So guys, today we are going to be talking about all the characteristics of Angelo Stiller and how he's going to suit into the pattern of Ruben Amorim. So guys, let's dive into this video together. So guys, if you have been watching Ruben Amorim's sides since he was in Sporting, you're going to find out that he's a coach that actually needs a loan season to actually operate. His system actually breathes through a loan season. He's a coach that actually needs a loan season that can be able to scan, that can be able to play under pressure, receive under pressure, be able to manipulate under tight spaces. And Angelo Stiller is actually that player that he needs a loan season that can be able to control the ball, that can be able to control the tempo of the game, that can be able to play effectively in the first phase, second phase. And in this video, we're going to be breaking down all the various phases that Angelo Stiller can be able to affect the play of Manchester United. And so guys, before we go about analyzing all the characteristics of Angelo Stiller, we actually need to ask ourselves what is being demanded of a number 6 that plays in the Ruben Amorim system. First of all, you need to be very good in the build-up phase. You need to be press resistant. Angelo Stiller is not the best press resistant player, but he's press resistant. He can be able to receive the ball under pressure, and he can be able to progress centrally, or he can be able to make those vertical switches. And secondly, the Ruben Amorim demands of his number 6 be able to play those vertical passes, those vertical switches that can be able to break defensive line. And also you need to be good in winning a lot of tackles. You need to be a good dueler. You need to be good in aerial duels. You need to have a lot of endurance and intensity to win balls over large portions of the game. So the reason Manchester United actually need a midfielder is their struggle in their first phase. And now you're going to be talking about how Angelo Stiller is going to help Manchester United in the first phase. You're going to find out that Angelo Stiller is actually a press resistant player. He's not the best press resistant player, like I said, but he's good in he can be able to be press resistant, he can play under pressure, he can receive under pressure. So in the first phase, he'll be demanded to form a possession box with the CCB. He's going to form a double pivot. The two central backs are going to split wide, and then the CCB, which is Matthias De Ligt and Stiller, are going to split wide, and he can be able to receive the ball under pressure, to receive the ball calmly, to turn and be able to play progressive passes. And you're going to find out that from his stats and from his metrics, he's a player that plays progressive passes after every 2 touches. That actually tells you that he is a player that can be able to progress the ball centrally. And you're going to find out that if you compare him with the elite Premier League midfielders, he has like 1.44 progressive carries per 90 minutes, which tells you that he's not a player that is over exciting, that has this best ball progressing ability, but he's a player that can be able to be utilized very well by Ruben Amorim. And you're going to find out that when in terms of progressive passes, comparing him to the likes of other elite Premier League midfielders, you're going to find out that he's actually very good in progressive passes. He has 9.93 progressive passes for 90 minutes, because he's like a deep line playmaker. He's a player that constantly switches the ball from one place to another on the pitch. He's a player that actually likes to change the direction and progression of the pitch. He's like an orchestrator, a deep line playmaker, the type of Rodri Hernandez kind of player that likes to orchestrate the play. He's very comfortable on the ball. He's very efficient in long passes. He's very efficient in short passes. So he's a player that likes to have a very high volume of the ball. He likes to touch the ball at a very large volume. He likes to orchestrate the play. So in the first phase of Manchester United, he's going to help us. And in the fact that he can be able to build up in that possession box, in that 3-2 shape, or in that 2-2 shape in the Ruben Amorim system, he's a player that can be able to drop also in between 2 central backs and be able to orchestrate the play from deeper positions of the pitch. So basically, Angelo Stiller is a player that can be able to help Manchester United in the first phase in any way Ruben Amorim wants to build up. If he wants to build up with a 3-2 shape, or if he wants to build up with a 2-2 shape, Angelo Stiller is actually the perfect fit for Manchester United when it comes to on the ball, when it comes to possession, and when it comes to the first phase of play. So guys, let's actually talk about the defensive ability of Stiller. As you have actually talked about his first phase, you're going to find out that he's going to help Manchester United a lot in the first phase. So let's actually talk about his off the ball movement and how he can help Manchester United off the ball. So defensively, he's not an absolute defensive monster that actually go about sprinting all over the pace, all over the pitch, making a lot of recovery, holding a lot of balls. He's actually not that kind of player. Stiller is a Ruben Amorim typical kind of midfielder, a defensive midfielder that actually is very intelligent and knows when to defend and likes to be in the right place at the right time. In summary, when you talk about the defensive nature of Angelo Stiller, he's a player that is actually a positional defensive midfielder. He's not a defensive midfielder that goes about winning tackles recklessly and that lunging into tackles. He's actually a player that defends by being at the right place at the right time. He's a defender that can be able to scan, he can be able to press high up the pitch with the team and win possession in high places and also create quick turnovers. He's actually very good in defending. If you look at his stats, you're going to find out that he's been posed like a bad defensive player that cannot be able to offer more defensively, but that's actually wrong. From the eye test, you're going to find out that he's very good defensively, and you're going to find out that he wins 4.43 duels per 90 minutes with a winning rate of 57.7%, and he also has like a recovery of 140. He had 140 recoveries in the Bundesliga last season. That actually tells you that he's a player that can be able to win balls in the pitch. He's actually a very good driller, and if you look at his defensive action per 90 minutes, you're going to find out that if you compare it with the likes of Declan Rice, Moisés Caicedo, McAllister, and some of the Premier League elites, Carlos Baleba, you're going to find out that he has a defensive action per 90 of 2.46. That actually tells you that he's good defensively. He can be able to make tackles and interception, but he's not a high volume tackler. He's not a high volume interceptor like the likes of Carlos Baleba, but he's a player that can be able to do the job, and he defends by being very positional, by being at the right place at the right time, just like Rodri Hernandez. Rodri is not the player that actually goes about to win a lot of tackles or to cover a lot of large spaces, but he's a player that actually saves himself the stress to be in the right place at the right time instead of having to make those 30 to 40 kilometer miles sprints. But he's a player that actually likes to be in those positions, in those situations whereby he's not going to be making those amounts of sprints and runs just to win the ball. So we have actually discussed how Stiller can be able to help Manchester United in the first phase of play and in the second phase of play. So how can Stiller help Manchester United to retain position? How can Stiller help Manchester United to break down low block teams? Actually, one of the best characteristics of Stiller that I like is actually his ability on the ball. I really appreciate his ability on the ball because he can be able to make in deeper position. He's actually more of a controller rather than a defensive monster. He's a midfielder that can be able to control, and for a midfielder that plays for a team like Stuttgart that doesn't hold a lot of position, he's a player that actually likes to hold possession, to orchestrate the play, to actually make the team to play towards his rhythms, just like Rodri Hernandez. Manchester City plays in the rhythm of Rodri, and Rodri actually decides the tempo at which he wants Manchester City to play. Angelo Stiller is that kind of player because he can be able to detect the tempo of the game. He likes the team to play with his rhythm, to play with his flow, and with Manchester United not able to hold possession for longer minutes for this has actually been the problem of Ruben Amorim, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Ruben Amorim is trying to correct that because Manchester United really find it hard to hold possession for more than 10 minutes, and you're going to find out that Angelo Stiller has a pass accuracy of 90%, and Manchester United midfielder from last season has a pass accuracy of more than 88%. That actually tells you that Angelo Stiller is going to help bring that calmness, going to help bring that press resistance nature. He's going to help to retain the position, to refine the position. He's a player that is actually very patient on the ball. He can be able to split low block teams from deeper position by playing a lot of vertical passes. He has a long pass accuracy of 58%. That actually tells you that he can make from lower position. He can be able to split low block teams, and he's a player that actually plays forward passes when he has like 2 touches. That actually tells you that he's also a very progressive player, and he's a player that likes to touch more of the ball in the middle of the park and in the midfield. He's a player that had almost 3,000 touches last season. He had 2,889 passes last season. That actually tells you that he's a player that touches more of the ball. He likes to control the rhythm of the team. He likes to play. He likes the team to play towards his rhythm, and he's a player that actually is going to help Manchester United in retaining position and also in breaking down low block teams in the Premier League. So guys, in as much I've said a lot of good things about Stiller and how he can be able to be crucial for the Ruben Amorim system and for Manchester United, you actually have to ask the question, is Angelo Stiller going to be able to be translated and integrated well into the Premier League? Is he going to work out in the Premier League? Actually, for him to work out in the Premier League, it depends on what is going to be demanded of him tactically. It depends on what Ruben Amorim is going to want from him, and definitely what I just explained is probably what Ruben Amorim is going to want from Angelo Stiller going into the Manchester United season. But you're going to find out that of all the midfielders that has been bought from the Bundesliga to the Premier League, Ilkay Gundogan has actually been one of the most successful midfielders coming from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. So The question still remains if Angelo Stiller is going to be fully integrated in the Premier League. And another situation and another dilemma concerning this Angelo Stiller sign is actually if he's going to be the right pair for Bruno Fernandes. You're going to find out that Angelo Stiller is a player that will be likely suitable to be paired alongside an athletic number 8, a number 8 that can be able to cover a lot of spaces, that can be able to make a lot of recovery, that can be able to play with intensity and endurance for a longer period of time. And I don't think Angelo Stiller is that kind of player that can be able to play in a very high intensity team, a very high intensity league. So he's suited to the Ruben Amorim pattern, but he will be more suited playing alongside a player that has this athleticism, this intensity. And so that actually remains if Manchester United are going to sign him this summer. So guys, I want you guys to give me your thoughts on if you feel Angelo Stiller is the right pair for Bruno Fernandes in the Ruben Amorim system. I want you guys to like, to share, to subscribe to Tactical Trafford, as we'll be bringing you guys more videos about Manchester United. So see you guys in my next video. Ciao.